If OpenClaw is so powerful, why do some people become 10x faster with it while others quit after 2 days? By the end of this video, you will know 5 things. What OpenClaw really is, what successful users do differently, where most beginners fail, the real pros and cons, and the money side, realistic costs, risks, and ROI. So let's start with what OpenClaw actually is. OpenClaw is a self-hosted AI assistant system, pretty much like Jarvis from the Iron Man movie. Think of it as 3 layers: gateway layer, routes messages and tools, agent layer, your assistant, rules, memory style, etc. Channel layer, where you interact, dashboard, messengers, etc. That means you can build repeatable workflows, not random prompts. For example, 9 a.m. daily briefing, 3 p.m. project reminder, evening summarize work and prep for tomorrow. That's the shift. Not chatting with AI, but running a lightweight personal operation system. Why OpenClaw exploded so fast? Well, most AI tools feel like one smart tab. Helpful but isolated. OpenClaw feels different because it can connect channels, run scheduled routines, and preserve context around sessions. People were not just reacting to a tool, they were reacting to a new workflow model. So the hype didn't come from one magical prompt. It came from the idea: what if your assistant is always available, structured, and connected to your actual workflow? That's why adoption accelerated, and that is exactly why it became the most popular repository in GitHub. Now you understand what it actually is and why it blew up. Next, let's get practical. What successful users are really doing with it. Top users stopped thinking in prompts and started thinking in repeatable routines. The first routine is research synthesis. They collect links, notes, docs, and raw updates, then let the assistant turn that into a clean brief they can act on. The second routine is content production. One agent researches, another drafts, a third does QA, and the manager agent combines everything into one polished output. The third routine is monitoring. Instead of manually checking 10 places, they run scheduled checks and get one concise report. The fourth routine is operator support. Status snapshots, runbook reminders, and repetitive technical tasks that normally drain focus. So the pattern is simple. They don't use OpenClaw as a novelty tool, they use it as a process multiplier, one workflow at a time. That's why their results compound. And now let's talk about where things break, because this is where most beginners get discouraged. The first mistake is trying to automate everything in week 1. That usually creates noise, not leverage. The second mistake is weak security habits, pasting sensitive data everywhere, blindly trusting external text, copying secrets into chats, installing random skills. Quick security note. OpenClaw has community skills that can seriously extend capability, which is great, but because the system is open source and community driven, you must assume some skills or prompts may include malicious intent or prompt injection patterns. If you trust everything by default, you can leak personal or business data fast. I will cover OpenClaw security in the next video, so stay tuned and subscribe. The third mistake is vague workflow design. If your process is unclear, the assistant can't make it precise. And the fourth mistake is expectation mismatch. OpenClaw is powerful, but it still needs clear scope, periodic reviews, and human decisions. So if you keep one sentence from this part, keep this one. Don't start with what can AI do, start with what repeats in my week. That question gives you a stable foundation instead of random experimentation. Now let's talk money, the part everyone asks about. Real costs to run OpenClaw and realistic earning paths without fantasy promises. So let's get specific. How much does this actually cost me, and can it make me money? First, OpenClaw itself is free and open source. So your total monthly spend usually comes from 4 buckets: model usage, infrastructure, integrations, and your own operating time. For a moderate workload, model costs can range roughly at about $100 plus monthly, depending on provider, model, and usage style. Then add practical overhead. VPS or hosting often comes to $80 per month. A lot of people have bought Mac Mini or new MacBook, which can be a meaningful upfront investment. And paid integrations or tools often are about $200 per month. Operation time, your real hidden cost in the first month. Let me know in the comments how much you've spent for the setup and use. At scale, poorly optimized system can become expensive really fast. Depending on the number of bots you run and the volume of tokens used, it might add up to thousands of dollars monthly. Ouch! But if you think about this as an employee salary line item, for many teams, even a serious OpenClaw setup can cost less than one human employee salary, and far less than multiple full-time hires, while still requiring human oversight for quality and safety. Now the earning side. You can earn by implementing systems for clients, by productizing workflow templates, by teaching implementation, creating projects from scratch, or by running a niche automation service where outcomes are measurable. The possibilities are limited by your imagination only. The caveat is important. Fast money stories are usually marketing. Sustainable income comes from repeatable delivery, clear ROI, and good security discipline. So the practical rule is simple. Track this like a small business unit, cost in, value out. If OpenClaw saves more time or generates more output than it costs, you scale. The fast sum up. The OpenClaw pros are powerful customization, repeatable automation, strong workflow leverage. And cons? Setup and maintenance overhead, security responsibility, and easy over-engineering if you start too wide. If OpenClaw saves real hours or creates measurable outcomes in your workflow, it's worth using. If you're using it only because it's trending, it will feel heavy quickly. I hope this video was useful for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye!